homie.
What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and the time is almost here for the Eddie Hall versus Hafthor Julius Bjornsson boxing match. You heard that right, boxing match. Two of the greatest strongmen of all time are going to go at it in the ring in Dubai in just 2 days. So we're Thursday here in the United States, the 17th of March. The fight happens on the 19th of March, US, UK time, 1 a.m. in Dubai, which would be the 20th of March, Dubai time for them. So, interestingly, since they're both coming from earlier time zones, perhaps they won't feel like it's so late, but they have been there quite a bit, sort of acclimatizing, so it'll be interesting to see how a fight that starts that late at night goes. And so, the other interesting thing was, I found out from my good buddy Big Laz, is there's only one fight. So, interesting because boxing matches typically have prelims and a bunch of pre-show, and this is going to be one fight only, so definitely tune in for that. As I said, it's going to be 1 a.m. Dubai time, whatever that equates to for you. So the way you watch it is you go to segi.tv/home. Here it is, and from what I understand, you don't have to register, set up an account, or anything. You just come here and watch it at the time of the fight, so couldn't be any easier than that. I know a lot of folks are kind of disenchanted, and after nearly 2 years of prep and Eddie's injury and the postponement and all that stuff, they're thinking, I don't even want to watch this anymore. I couldn't be further from that camp. I'm very excited to watch this and see the culmination of all this back and forth. A quick recap for those of you that don't know why they're fighting, which I don't know why you wouldn't by now, but basically there was a confrontation at 2017, World's Strongest Man, and I've talked about all the details in other videos, so I won't get into all that, but Hafthor basically competed in the Viking press. There was some controversy on whether or not he double-dipped. He had a rep taken away from him. I personally, at the time, thought he should have more reps taken away from him, as did Colin Bryce in some of the videos that I've seen. And basically, Colin said, I was trying to be fair to you. And Hafthor seemed happy with his performance until Eddie went out and beat it. And then it seemed like suddenly, at least based on all the footage I saw, it seemed like suddenly he was upset and has since really tried to besmirch Eddie's win at World's Strongest Man. And then there was the whole controversy over the handshake as well, where Thor saying, I did shake your hand. And, you know, now that I've seen some more video, he did, but Eddie had to prompt him. Like, they were all standing on the podium there for quite a bit. Eddie seemed to be staring in Thor's direction for at least 5-6 seconds without Thor looking back at him. And then Eddie finally tapped him on the forearm and put out his hand. So Thor shook Eddie's hand, but Eddie put it out first. And it does seem a little strange that the winner should have to reach down to the second place finisher and say, well done to him. And Thor kind of nodded, shook his hand back. It didn't seem like he said any words back to him. And that's Eddie's whole thing, right? Like, yeah, you shook my hand, but you never said well done for winning World's Strongest Man. And I did say well done to you for coming in second. So that's a lot of the controversy there and why they're fighting. The fight is going to be happening again in 2 days. And so for those of you who didn't hear about the confrontation, now I don't want to show any video here because there have been requests to take them down for anybody who did post videos. I did not. But the videos were on the internet for a small amount of time, and basically, if you search for them on YouTube, you may still find them floating around there somewhere, or maybe some screenshots. But what happened was, Thor was training in Dubai. He was in the middle of a training session, and Eddie Hall walked in, and they had an exchange of words, and apparently, as Eddie tells the story later, Thor said, if you touch me, I'll rip your head off, or he said it to the promoter, actually, and then the way Eddie tells the story, Thor then went on to touch him. And basically Eddie went into street mode and said, you know, where I come from, we settle things like this on the street. Let's go outside right now. And there was sort of a lot of back and forth and banter there. So that's what the confrontation was. And apparently Don Idris was injured during that, or there's rumors that he was. I have heard some information after that Don is as tough as they come and he'll be fine. So I don't know any details about what that injury was, if he got bumped into or whatever when the gentlemen were being separated. But so how do I feel about the confrontation? Well, we found out later that Eddie was actually kind of put up to it. Like, he was asked to go in there and stir the pot a bit to promote the fight. And on one hand, you think, well, you know, hey, we don't want all this contrived stuff. Like, we want to see their true, genuine feelings toward each other and why they really have disdain for each other and want to fight. But on the other hand, you think, Strongman really could use a lot more notoriety than it has, and it has grown a lot in the last couple of years, but these guys are busting their butts, and women are working really, really hard in this sport and deserve the notoriety that the big sports have, right? So, in one sense, you can say you don't like Eddie's tactics, and on the other sense, you can say he's bringing a lot more butts to the seats for strongman. So, you can kind of look at it either way. So, I kind of am on the fence there on whether I like the fact that it was contrived, or I'm against the fact that it was contrived, or I like the fact that, hey, I was looking for some updates on the fight anyway. Like, I'm a big boxing fan, right? So when fights are happening, I'm searching YouTube all the time for press conferences, for face-offs, I want as much content as I can get before the actual event. And so, in one sense, it was like, why did he go stir up trouble? But on the other sense, it was like, I have had content to watch every day. Like, it's keeping interest in what I feel is a very interesting contest. So those are my thoughts on the Eddie versus Thor confrontation, the video that was, on a few different channels and was subsequently requested to be taken down. Kindly requested, like nobody demanded anything, but basically they said, we didn't really have permission to release this. Would you kindly take it down? And as far as I'm aware, it is down now. But that was the Eddie versus Thor confrontation. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this confrontation, and I'll be back again to talk about the other things like the press conference, the weigh-in, the face-off, like all the other great content that I love to consume and that I'm sure you all have great opinions on as well. So, of course, until then, ciao, homie.